Everyone, it's Kathy Zilski for Simon Says Stamp back with another installment of Easy with me, CZ. Today I'm going to show you how to make a golden lol complete with an emoji to get that emoji vibe onto your cards. Let's take a look at the products I'm using today. This is my lol plus emoji die set, and I've also created a stamp set that coordinates with these dies, and there are also dies available for this stamp set as well. I've gone ahead and done some die cutting out of white cardstock as well as some of the matte gold from Simon Says Stamp, and I've got all the little face pieces cut out as well. So all we have to start doing here is gluing them together. I'm using the new Pawsitively Perfect glue from Simon Says Stamp in this small half-ounce bottle, which is a really easy bottle to handle. It's nice, it squeezes so easily. And we're going to stack up a little dimension for all of our elements. Once the white layers are glued together, I'll add a little more glue and pop on the matte gold. And that gives us just a nice little bit of dimension for this part of the greeting. And then I'll repeat here by gluing the faces together. Now the faces have a little etching in them, which is very helpful for placing the face die cuts, but you don't have to worry about lining anything up when you're stacking. Just add your glue and stack. Then I'll add the stacked lol right onto the shadow layer. You can use the lol just by itself without the shadow layer, and when you do, the emoji smiley face perfectly obliterates or obscures, if you will, the O. But when you have the shadow layer on, you sort of have to shift it a little to make it work. And what I like to do is just shift it up to the right a little. You can go to the left or to the right, just so that you see the white shadow layer a bit more at the bottom, like that. So I'll glue this on directly, and the little emoji becomes the O. It's clever. I planned it that way. All right, once that's on, I took some of the Pawsitively Perfect glue and put it in one of these small bottles because this lets you put the tiniest little dots of glue. But I will give you a tip. Sometimes I put corsage pins in this style of bottle, but I don't with the Pawsitively Perfect glue because you just want to use the rubber cap that comes with these little squeeze bottles. That just is going to work better than the pin. But the reason I like these is just for things like this, the tiny, tiny dots that you can squeeze out. So I keep glue in multiple containers, but I do love the little fine tip nozzle. So now you just place in the little guys, the little details, just kind of wiggle them into place until you get them lined up. I'll add the little laugh tears off to the right, pop those down. It's really easy to line those up. There's no etching for the tears because I figured, people can figure those out. But now we have our cute little greeting. I'm wiping away any excess glue and getting those right into place. Next, I'll stamp my greeting, and the font on the thicker greetings is very close together, so I will recommend to anyone who gets this stamp set to use a crisp pigment ink. Sometimes a pigment ink is going to work better than a dye ink. Dye inks have liquid in them a little bit more, well, they have more water, and they can spread on the fibers of your paper. So with this particular font style where the letters are so close together, you want to make sure not to press too hard. Just give a tap and you're good to go. Now I'll let that dry because it is pigment ink, so give that a dry time before I cut it out. But that gives me a chance to move on to the next step. I've got a panel here. This is 3.5 by 4 3/4. I'm going to do a little two-tone spattering. And this is a little tip if you want to keep some of the edges from having spatter, so you're kind of controlling where it goes. Just stick a couple Post-it notes on opposing corners. I like to trim mine down so I can fit that fully into the box. And that just sort of gives you a little spatter zone. I'm using two kinds of things to spatter. The first is the Tim Holtz Distress Spritz, and this is in the fossilized amber. It's a really pretty gold when it dries. It's warm and it's shiny. I absolutely love it for doing this technique. I clean off my brush a little just so most of the gold is off, and just tap the tiniest amount of this gouache. This tube is going to last me forever, I tell you. You put a little water in, and we'll just pick that up with the brush and tap into the center. And then your edges on opposing sides are clean. Next, I'll take my greeting, and I've already stacked this up with one more layer of cardstock, and I'm lining it up here on my little trimmer where the outermost letter just extends past that raised bump. And when you do this, it just gives you a perfectly centered greeting. I love that. I love that trimmer for that. I know you can use scissors, but you know me, you got the tools, you're going to use them. I'm making a note card. This is the Audrey blue, and I just thought that would be a cute little visual connection to the smiley tears and give it a little more of a fun color background. I've got some foam tape here from Ulta New. I'll pop this on. Only need a couple strips here because I didn't really do any heavy inky techniques. The paper feels great, although I did go a little close to the edge. So we'll snip that off. And then I'll use my little Simon adhesive lift tool and quickly get the edges released so I can pop this down onto the note card. Get that down with that nice framing margin space. And now we'll add elements. I'll take the backers off of the regular depth foam squares, and I like to put a little dab of glue on the squares just for that little bit of wiggle room before it sticks, because then I can bring in my T-square and just make sure those L's at the top, see, there's a little shift there, but that helps me line and slide it into place. And then I'll do the same thing for the greetings, especially when I have like a sentiment strip, a little mini strip like this. I want to make sure it's as straight as possible on my card. Again, the T-square helps, and that liquid glue, it just gives that little bit of wiggle room to get it right into place. And I'll add the funny one for the "You're a funny one." And again, that stuck. I was a little close, but with the liquid glue, I was able to slide it down just a bit. If you've never tried the liquid glue, give it a try. It really does change the way you'll use dimensional adhesive. Okay, I'm adding a mix of mini pearls. This is from Gina K. It sounded like I just said mini pearl. This card is a tribute to Mini Pearl. See, and she was a funny one. So full circle moment. But we're booping those down. And look how fun that is with the 2 tones of spatter. Oh, I love it. I'm going to stamp a quick greeting on the inside too from the set. So it says, "You're a funny one" on the outside, and on the inside, "Never stop bringing your joy to the world." And that finishes the card for today. I hope this inspires you to check out the LOL Plus emoji and the LOL stamps to get those emojis off your phone and into your handmade cards. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here with another card project soon.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.